Running commentary. We are exploring listening to albums. It is a lost art form. We took an hour out of our day. We switched off the phones. We switched off the computers. We did not answer the door. We sat down and we listened to the artist's vision and concept. Christina Aguilera, Stripped. Released in October 2002 on RCA Records, Stripped was Christina Aguilera's fourth studio album. The album was recorded in New York, California, including sessions in the famous Electric Lady studio on West 8th Street. Stripped starts as an intro, sort of a lead-in, a kind of preambles, has that sort of Janet Jackson kind of feel to it, where you're sort of leading into an album with these middle sections. I have to say that pretty much all of these interludes are irrelevant and really don't factor into my final impressions of this album. So Stripped sort of leads you in, and it starts with a big hit single, which is Can't Hold Us Down, featuring Lil' Kim. It's up-tempo, it focuses on the disparities of male and female sexual freedom. She really sings this, you know, it's a lot of kind of capitalizing on the melting pot feeling of New York and California. David LaChapelle video, I believe. There's a lot of kind of color and vibrancy and sweat. Also a lot of hypocrisy, really, because I feel that the female sexuality on this video is really out there and front-wise, and complaining about men and what dogs they are as you behave like a total sex trollop really just kind of leaves a foul taste in my mouth. I don't really get down to the record. I don't find it that interesting. It doesn't, you know, really resonate with me. But I know that there are a lot of people that think this is a great record. I'm not one of them. Walk Away, she really sings on this album, but what is she singing about? And why don't I care or believe her? There's a sort of stylistic thing with her that there's so much effort going into the way she sings that what she's singing about is not really, at this point in the album, I'm not really connecting with the material. You know, it doesn't speak to me as a person. This new album saw a change in public image, an introduction to her alter ego, which was ex-Tina. The album received Grammy Award nominations. The comparisons to Britney clearly drove Christina bonkers. Miss Aguilera was the executive producer for the album. As of 2015, Stripped had sold 13 million copies. Fighter, this song has a rockier feel. There's a lot of people that really like this song. I'm not one of them. Again, Fighter, yeah, I get it. It just doesn't resonate with me, but I don't think it's supposed to. I really do feel that it's supposed to be something that the teen girls and boys that she'd kind of grown up with sort of grew with her. By this point, when this album came out, I was sort of really past the point of enjoying her, and actually I enjoyed her earlier work better because it seemed almost like a little more, I understood it more, I understood the marketing of it more. The manager, Steve Kurtz, who had engineered the bubblegum pop success of the early days, did not have his contract renewed. Primer Amor is one of these interludes. It's the Spanish language, and the heritage is presented as part of what this album's about. My heritage, mi corazon, my family, you know, you get the idea. We're really using what we've got here. That's part of my problem with this. I don't like people using what they've got so flagrantly. I know that it's really celebrated here in America, but I find it a little jarring sometimes when people use what they've got so flagrantly. Infatuation, the Spanish guitar made so popular by Santana is used on this track. Christina Aguilera, just to go back to the heritage part of things, was born in 1980 in Staten Island. She's a Sagittarius. She appeared on Star Search and the Mickey Mouse Club in the early years. Her father is Ecuadorian, and her mother is of German, Irish, Welsh, and Dutch ancestry, which from girls that I've spoken to in the New York area, that would make her something of a mutt. No, I'm just saying, that's something that girls in New York would say about their own heritage. I can't read. Love's Embrace interlude. I mean, what we've basically done here is listen to Mariah Carey's Butterfly reprise, and we've essentially copied it. So, Loving Me for Me is heavily borrowed. You know, it's clearly, the reference points are coming from everywhere else but her. That's what I'm getting here is like, oh, I like this person and I like this person and I'm Spanish and I'm a lady and I've got rights and it's like, okay, none of this is telling me about who you are. I'm not connecting with this artist in any way, shape or form. You're trying to give me an introduction to who you are and all I'm really getting is that you're confused. Her father was a soldier, which meant that the family moved often, including Japan. They lived in Japan for a period. Both Christina and her mother have indicated that her father was abusive. Impossible features Alicia Keys' writing and performance. And, you know, it's definitely one of Alicia's not so strong songs. You know, she's present, she's there. It's an opportunity. You know, this is what this album's about. It's, oh, here's an opportunity, let's take that opportunity. Oh, here's an opportunity, let's take that opportunity. But rather than kind of thinking it through and making it work, it's just sort of, oh, okay. It doesn't fit together so far. At this point in the album, I'm just like, okay. It's a bunch of songs that don't really connect. I don't get what this is about. What are you saying? Scott Storch, who's the person to go to write songs, is heavily featured on the album's track listing. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Apparently he's very radio friendly. I mean, I'm guessing a lot of it is political. I don't know. I don't hear it. I don't hear what's great. And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear what's so great about this number one like songwriter, and I just can't remember any of these songs really. Thanks for making me stronger. You know, thanks for makes me a little bit. Just no, not really. Not getting it. Not feeling it. Not embracing it. Ron Fair is the executive producer and A&R person at RCA for Christina's career for this recording. The personnel on this album are extensive. 50 people, in fact. There's about 50 people featured on this album. And we're going to get into the more, I think, accomplished side of things shortly. But up until now, you know, we've got a whole lot of people on this album and a whole lot of messages and vibes and it's just coming at you. And, you know, I listened a few times and I'm still not really connecting, underappreciated, okay. Doing that whole thing where it's just like, okay, complaining, but actually using at the same time what you're complaining about to succeed with. I don't know. How am I supposed to feel about that? You're using what you're complaining about. Beautiful. Here it is. It's the jewel in the crown on this album. Finally, a song where I can sit there and say, you know what? I like this song. I really like this song. A generational anthem. Really, truly. I am confident that this powerhouse single contributed heavily to the album's success. The video for this really tackled some difficult issues for that time period. Here we are in 2002 and we're dealing with transgender, we're dealing with sexuality, we're dealing with anorexia, we're dealing with bullying. Clear themes, clearly defined, and the message is just so strong. And the writing is powerful. And it's Linda Perry from Four Non Blondes. That's who it is. That's who's behind this track's driving force. The message is clear. The vehicle has a direction on Beautiful, which cannot be denied. This song really, thank God for this song on this album, really. It does so much great work. It's still an excellent song. It still matters. And it's definitely, I think, her best song. I don't think it ever got better than Beautiful. I don't think it ever did. I think it's her best song, and I really like it. It's head and shoulders, so far, above everything else on the album. Let's talk the costume for the album cover. Remember, on Can't Hold Us Down, we're complaining about how shitty it is being a woman and how men judge you and how you're a slut and blah, 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 and XYZ. Let's talk about this. I see a delightful midriff with navel. Under this, I see something which sort of triangulates like the pubic hair of a vagina. There's breast-length flowing tresses, hands overhead, long legs. Are they fringed pants? The album's called Stripped. Yet we are asked to accept this album as a bearing of soul. We'll get back to this point. Beautiful is a knockout. We've talked about memorable song. For my money, Christina's unbeatable track. It won a Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal. Makeover. We hear 60s style guitar sensibility. Is this Austin Powers influenced? Why not? She's using every other influence that's around at that time. Why not throw Austin Powers into the mix? Yeah, baby. We have Cruise, which is a great vocal harmony start. Linda Perry's here again, working her positive influence. This is not my favorite thing ever, but its direction is feeling positive. It definitely has a direction. It's got that triumphant 70s anthem thing, which goes in with Linda Perry, of course. Cruz, of course, means cross in Spanish. There's the X in Xtina, so it's a play on words. And Beautiful and Cruz, so far okay. Yeah, we've got something here. Remember, I feel bombarded with messages and symbolism. Soar sounds similar to Feel So High by Desiree in the beginning. Produced by Rob Hoffman. The piano part is excellent. It sounds like Mariah in parts. Of course it does. This is Christina's idol. This is who she looks up to and emulates. This song's a nice idea. Its desire to be a Mariah Carey record is to its credit. I really like the strings. Get Mine, Get Yours. Decent contemporary song for the time. It sounds like Brandy could have sung it. Dirty featuring Redman. So this is the really controversial track. This is the track where we decide that we're essentially gonna go for a borderline pornographic thing here. We're gonna wear sort of dirty candy stripe outfits. We're gonna have butts, muscles, and breasts exposed at every available opportunity. We're gonna be lubed up to the max. We're gonna be in a wrestling ring. We're gonna, just tawdry sexual imagery. The song's not good. It just isn't. It's just not a good song. Who cares about this? What is this song about? Getting dirty with 2 R's? Are you kidding me? Okay, Redman's on there to give it cred. Redman's not on there to give it cred. He's on there to make a buck. Do these people honestly believe that these rappers care about their careers? Rappers care about themselves. That's who rappers care about. They don't care about anyone else. This song plays a miserable second fiddle to the video. And as I said, it's borderline pornography. You know what? In this day and age, I'd rather go onto a porn website than look at a silly pop video with a bad song. Thumbs down. Terrible. Stripped Part 2. Whatever that is. I guess that's the intro Part 2. We're supposed to make a connection 10 songs down from what the intro was doing. The Voice Within. No matter what I say here, this song is loved. Here she is in the American songbook territory, which works so well with the domestic and international audience. Glen Ballard is co-writer and producer, part of the Jagged Little Pill juggernaut, and also co-writer of Man in the Mirror. This song has undeniable equity on the album. The Voice Within is a good song, and you kind of care about it. There she looks so frail and so delicate like a flower. 2 tracks down from having, got her tits out and rolling around with a bunch of reprobates in a wrestling ring. Do you see where I'm going here? You're asking me to accept too much in too short space of a time. But this is all going to get very interesting because we're going to continue to talk about what else is happening on this album. And then it happens. You finally get a song from this woman that matters. You finally get something from her, which is a bearing of soul. And the song's called I'm Okay. It's by Linda Perry again. And this deals with the paternal abuse that we referred to earlier. An important song which through sheer content cannot be criticized. While Stripped could not have been solely based on such difficult material, I'm actually listening to this girl here and caring about her. Mariah never did this. The eerie strings are an inspired and an essential feature to this song. This is the stuff that we care about. Of course, pop can't be about getting abused by your father. Of course, it can't all be that. We understand that. But This track just changes things. It changes the whole way I feel about this girl, and now I have to sit down and reevaluate this whole thing. Keep On Singing My Song is the way that the album ends. You know, it's a great way to end the album. The overall feel is more captivating than the content. Mariah Carey again has unbounded influence here on her vocal renderings. Wait for the goofy ending. I walk away from this album with an overall newfound respect for Christina Aguilera. There are moments of sharing intimate details on this album which, before listening, I wouldn't have given her credit for having the ability to manifest. The track order is a problem. No bueno. The interludes are meaningless. The album's got a million directions going on. It's not a single album. It's not a double album. It's 1.5 albums. It runs for an hour and 18 minutes. I'm struggling with a mark here for a few reasons. The missteps are awkward and uncomfortable. It just's like, oh, that's clanky, that's Mariah, that's this, that's that. None of it's her. She justifies the missteps in other areas of the work through openness and expression. I'm seeing the overt sexual representation of this female as overcompensation for someone who is hurt. I know people who love this album to pieces, and they are people that I respect. Is Christina Aguilera a representation of our female society today? Are our females torn in a million different directions like this woman? Is this why this album sold 13 million records? Are we here, there, and everywhere? Because as guys, I think that we kind of have a few directions, but there are so many directions and spectrums here. It's like a minefield. And I wonder if there isn't a little bit of genius in the fact that she did have the courage to just throw all this out there. I don't like the material very much, but I do think in the final mark, and I'm surprising myself with this, but I will award Stripped 82%.